You ever wondered what would happen if you're on vacation and so you can't take care of your garden for 2 weeks? Well, here's what happens. In the next videos, we're going to go over everything, how to pull weeds, what they look like, what weeds need to be pulled, and everything. And so let's start and look and see just what the garden looks like after being ignored for 2 weeks with nobody here to do anything to it. Some places you can see how the weeds have really taken over. And other places how you can get some nice growth. But let's go back and see what happens to your garden when you're away from it for 2 weeks. I want to look and see how things are growing too. I think this is that bush cherry I planted. I tried to cut away some of the daylilies are around it because they'll sap all the moisture and everything. This right here was planted at the same time, so you can see how much better it's growing as compared to the one over here. This here is a hibiscus. It has great big huge pink saucer shaped flowers. So it doesn't start till late, but then once it starts it grows right up. And the growth above ground dies. I guess that's what herbaceous means. It's all the growth above the ground dies in the wintertime. But then it just grows back. You can see where I cut it off last year because all the green just dies. So I just cut it down to ground level after it dies. And here's this I planted the other day. I think it's called a Jacob's ladder. I planted that before we left and it seems to be doing just fine. So the stuff out here, it seems to be, the lilies have all started blooming. That's a hardy lily. It looks really nice. Here's another lily that's not started blooming yet. I'm going to guess that that's a tiger lily or a martagon lily or something like that. And here this dogwood that I planted, just a little thing a few years back, seems to be doing really good. Here's another lily just blooming away down there. I don't know why they fall over. It comes up way over here and it falls over. I do not stake my plants though. I don't like doing that. And all these things that I started out back last year are doing really good. This I planted here this year. I bought it. That is a red yarrow. This here is primrose. I forget the Unattended maybe. This here is let's see if I can remember, a jugula. That's a variegated jugula. This is another real pretty hardy lily that's blooming. And here's a daylily. I think I spread those daylilies around too much. I may be digging some of those out. I think we just have too many. This here comes from the bird seed. Sometimes farmers grow it. I think it's Milo or something like that. I'm not sure, but it comes from the bird seed. Here's a maple tree, and here's a morning glory. We're going to come back and pull all these seeds up. And here I planted this year. I think this is dichondra. This is a weed right here. And here's some more jugula, but it's really dark. I think it's a jugula chocolate soldier. You can see how it's spreading all over. It likes growing in among rocks and things. Here's a lily that fell over, and probably won't do anything because it fell over. These ones are getting too close to the path. And I'll just cut these daylilies. I'll probably dig those out. Just growing too close to the path. And these lilies are kind of pretty. They're all hardy lilies. I cut off the blooms after they're done blooming to give strength for the plant. So I'll be coming out and cutting off all these. And that saves strength for the plant, for the bulbs to multiply. And you can see how these bulbs have multiplied. There's several of them where I just planted one. Here's some more. I just wish they were farther away from the path here in the center. Now these things, they have just grown up since I left. I have no idea what they are, but I don't think I want anything out here this tall. Look at how many of them there are. So I'm just going to pull those all right up. I have no idea what they are. This here, I'm forgetting what it is, but it was in a flower pot. I can't remember how long it was just sitting around in the basement with no water or anything on it. I just set the pot out here. I was going to use it for something else. Something started growing in there. I don't even know what it was in there. But it wasn't dead, whatever it was. It was probably a bulb, and it just went into a dormant state till I got water. Yeah, another hardy lily. Isn't that nice? But yeah, no, these things are gone. They're definitely gone. And here's a hosta. Now this flower bed here it's no sun right now, but it gets quite a bit of hot sun during the day. And you can see that this hostas don't like a whole lot of sun. You can see this one gets too much sun. How the leaves are all burnt like that. I think it's from too much sun. This here is another hibiscus. Great big huge flowers. And it dies out in the winter. It takes a while to get started. Here you can see the last year's growth from the hibiscus right here. And it goes into like a little stick or a hardy bush, but in this area it dies back to the ground, and the growth above the ground dies. And so here's all these succulents that I planted out here. They're doing just fine. All these things that survived without growth. This here is a weed. I don't know what it's called, but we want to get it pulled up. So I'll go through today and pull up all these weeds and put that in a separate video so you can see just exactly what are weeds and what are plants. Because we got plenty of weeds to pull, so we're not going to miss the chance to see what's a weed and what's not. And these honeysuckles here probably missed all the blooming being gone, because you can see that they bloomed here. Now here's a plant that you'll often see in your garden. This is called lamb's quarters. and you probably want to just pull it up. I can't see, I've heard of some people eating it, but I just pull it up. I don't think I've never tried it. And this is that trumpet vine that I planted earlier this year. I think it's going to need to be tied up until it gets started to cover the swing set here. But it's been growing. So I just planted that this year. Here's the other one right here that I planted this year. It's not growing as fast. I just planted them both at the same time. This is Laetris, Kansas Gayflower, I've heard it called too. And all of these, I'm just going to dig all these daylilies up early in the spring. And this is a honeysuckle that probably planted itself from over there. And see, this is a weed. There's the insignificant blue flower goes with this. And you'll pull this up because this will just cover your flower beds if you don't. Here's one of these really pretty lilies that fell over. This thyme I planted earlier this year is going just fine there. And my roses, this is Mr. Lincoln, and I'm going to clear out some of these things around it so it can grow better. Like, there's no reason to have this daylily here. I got plenty of other daylilies. And the red yarrow here is doing just fine. I think that Sweet William there is called Wild Sweet William, but I think it's called Wild Phlox. But it might be just a spring flower that'll come back in the spring. We'll see. This was the daisy that bloomed, and now it's done. This here is a regal lily. Has a strong perfumey scent, and it looks like it's going to have a lot more blooms on it. There's an awful lot of blooms for such a small plant. And all this stuff right down here is stuff I would ordinarily pull up that grows from the birdseed that falls here. So, and this here, I'm pretty sure this is a viburnum. And I don't know what this here is called. It's a nice plant. You plant so much here, so many plants here that sometimes it's hard to remember what's what. Here's another lily. Here's another geranium, true geranium. Here is a variety of primrose, Missouri primrose. And here is plumbago that was planted here a few years back, and it's growing pretty good. Here is this geranium, not geranium, but delphinium that I planted here this year. It's not dead yet. It just doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. Maybe it just needs some water. This here, I don't know what this is, but this is a weed too. I see it from time to time in my flower beds. And it's kind of woody, so I just try and get it pulled up. To get weeds, the best way is reach down as far as you can, and you get all the roots. And once you get the roots, you know it ain't coming back. And this here is a walnut tree that the squirrels have planted for you. You can definitely, I didn't get the roots, so you can definitely tell it's a walnut tree. It doesn't smell like Doesn't smell like a walnut tree, but I'm pretty sure it is. This is Sweet William. And these here is Creeping Jenny. I should come back and pull all that up. And these things here, like I said, I have no idea what these are. They grew up while we were gone the last couple weeks. So they're going to be gone. And this here, I see these quite a bit too, and I'm not sure what that is, unless it's a mulberry. So that is something that you need to pull up. Again, go as far down as you can. There, I got all the roots. So that won't be coming back. Here's another weed that you see from time to time. And again, I don't know what it is. It just keeps growing if you don't pull it up. There, I just got the leaves, so it'll probably come back. And this is Creeping Jenny. It's got to go. And this is another weed I see frequently. This is violet, American violet, and I usually leave those. They can get too weedy and take over the garden, but I've not had that problem yet. One I have that tries to take over the garden is this Creeping Jenny. I planted this year, this year, but no, I've already forgotten what it is. And this is just a grass, it needs to go. Here's some irises that we planted here this spring. You may have seen that video. You can watch it if you want. It's here on my channel. These are hardy lilies, and they are very, very strongly scented. They smell very good. This is definitely a weed. We'll need to pull it up when we come through here. These are raspberries, and they are ripe, and some of them are past ripe. Very good though. I planted black raspberries so you can tell when they're ripe, but yet they pull right off. Whereas black berries, they don't pull right off like that. These are really good. Yeah, look at all these raspberries. We'll have to come out and pick those. These here should have been picked a long time ago, but they're past ripe. Like that one. These are very good. Yeah, we'll come out and pick these today. There are tons of them in there. Look at all those. Yeah. Another lily. I don't know why those fall over like that. Well, this one here, it's got some big flowers on it too. I should find something to prop that up. This flower bed here is just about gone completely to weeds. And later on, we'll come out and pull these, and I'll show you which ones are the weeds and which ones are the flowers. So you can pull weeds like a pro and know exactly which is which. That'll have to be in a different video though, so keep checking. Same with this flower bed. These were all started from seeds. But later on, I'll come out and pull these weeds out, and I'll show you which ones of these are the weeds and which ones are the flowers. And here's the asparagus bed. We'll pull the weeds out of it, and I'll show you again. So keep watching for when that video comes out, so we can see exactly which ones are weeds and which ones are flowers. And here's all these daylilies in here. I just planted one bulb back in there, and you can see how it's just multiplied all over the place. And this is a different variety, so it had to be more than one bulb because this is a different variety. And the clematis, you can see, is just about gone. And the moonflowers are getting ready to bloom. There'll be a bloom right there. They've grown way up very, very tall here. Look how much the moonflowers grew in the time we were gone. When we left, they were way down in here, and they've grown up that tall, grown up over the top. And this is nasturtiums that I planted in with the moonflowers. Here is a, those are, this is moss roses in there. It's kind of pointless, I guess, to have planted moss roses in here because they don't really get enough light to do much of anything. Here's this tomato is not getting enough water. This is going to be some tomatoes here. There's a bloom right there. Oh, these here are Japanese beetles. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of them. They love zinnias. All right. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of Japanese beetles. They sell these traps. Those things don't work at all, and I would never buy those because all they do is attract more. I tried them. That's all they did. So yeah. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of Japanese beetles. And they love plants that smell good. So once they get done with the zinnias, they'll start on the roses and hardy lilies. They love those too. And here's the garden. It's I'll show you, this here is a row of wildflowers right here. So yeah, I'll come out here and we'll pull up these. This is a row of spinach, but it's gone to seed, so it's no longer good. So I'll just dig it under. There's a little piece of glass. I always turn it up a little. That's why I keep a trash can handy for things I come up in the garden, like things that have dug up over a period of time, you know. Here's an old walnut. This is crabgrass. You can pull it up in your garden or flower bed, wherever. Just grab it like that, near the ground, and then pull straight up. And here's more lamb's quarter. It grows all over the place, so you don't want to let it go. I pull it up as soon as I find it. Now you can see how much of this compost has gone down. It's going back into earth, and composted plants is the best thing you can put in your garden. So remember how big this pile was and how low to the ground. It will just keep gradually going lower and lower to the ground. And the forsythia bush that was here is trying to grow back. So I'm going to get my axe out here and chop this all down. Because you can't have a forsythia bush in your garden. It'll completely destroy it. Here's another piece of plastic, like a bottle cap or something in the garden. Piece of cement. Piece of glass. I just picked that stuff up and throw it away.